Hey guys, Uncle Loz back with Little Lizzie, and we are here with part one of Europe's Strongest Man Aftershow Show 2020. Right, Europe's Strongest Man 2020. Very controversial this year.
Yeah, but it gets tiresome, doesn't it?
It does. I think, we've seen all the arguments about whether this should have happened, blah, 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 blah. And you see it with every single competition that has gone on this year, to be honest. At the end of the day, you can only get who you can get at a competition, and you can only beat who you can beat. Who you can beat? Who you can beat. So, like...
I think he's glitching.
I'm glitching. Absolutely, genuinely delighted that this show went ahead.
Yes.
And it was still a great lineup. It was still a great performance from the athletes. When you look at the individual results, which we are going to do, obviously, that's what we do here. We look in depth into these competitions.
Dig deep.
We dig real deep. And when you look at the actual results, these are some fantastic performances once again.
Yeah.
And we've gone through many times about, the issues that promoters have had this year, athletes have had this year. As well as the COVID pandemic, there was a lot of athletes who were just injured as well at this time.
Yeah, people injured, people who couldn't travel, people who had other commitments. So they can only get who they can get. And, availability is part of ability, isn't it? So, if you're not available, then you're not in. So.
Move away. The next people come in.
Exactly.
And that's the way it is in not just strongman, but any sport.
And that's kind of the beauty of it, because that's how we get to see new guys come through. Yeah.
And for me, it was great to see some of these new guys, because obviously I train a couple of them.
You do.
Very proud. Proud, like a proud papa.
Proud. Oh, God.
I don't know how they'd see us. Like, I'm Uncle Loz, but you're definitely not Auntie Liz, are you?
The thing is, in real life, I am an auntie, but Auntie Liz sounds old. I don't know, because, I just don't like it. Stop it.
Little Lizzie. There we go.
Little Lizzie. Although right now I'm sort of medium Lizzie.
Got to get back in the gym.
Oh, not again. I went once, wasn't that enough?
Right, Lizzie, let's take a look at the athletes.
So this competition took place at Allerton Castle on September the 5th and 6th. First off, I absolutely loved the backdrop, the castle backdrop. Like, we've become so accustomed to the arena and stadium shows for Europe's Strongest Man. It really made me feel like I was watching an old Pure Strength or something like that with, it was just, I thought it was really cool looking. I quite liked the crowd thing.
It was a really nice kind of backdrop. It looked good.
Lots of variety there.
Obviously, I love the arena shows because I love the engagement from the fans, but I think this year that not being possible, going back to sort of these strongman
really
roots,
rustic looking. I thought it was great. So let's quickly go through the lineup. So we had Par O'Dwyer representing Ireland, Gavin Bilton representing the UK, Jack.
For Jack.
Thank you.
He's really Jack Osborne.
Representing Hungary. Paul Benton representing Scotland, I'm assuming, or the UK. Terry Hollins representing the UK. Alex Lungu representing Romania. We had Mark Felix, obviously representing Great Britain. Aaron Page representing Great Britain. Graham Hicks representing Great Britain. Irvin Toots representing Estonia. Adam Bishop from the UK, and also Luke Richardson from the UK. And I realised I jumped about with UK and Great Britain.
I was going to say, like, you're kind of jumping about.
I'm trying to keep it interesting.
I was just going to let you...
I'm panicking because you're making me read, which is much more likely.
So what was really cool about this contest was it was battled over 2 days and 9 events. Now that's a lot of events for Europe's Strongest Man, for any competition these days. 9 events is kind of almost unheard of.
Yeah.
Back in the days, it was quite standard to have 8 to 10 events, but Strongman sort of reduced to 8, and then it was like 6, and now quite often we see contests where there's 5 events done. So to see 9 I thought was really cool. And some interesting events this year at Europe. So a couple of events we really haven't seen before, a couple of classic strongman events as well. A real good mix, as they tend to get a good mixture now in the giant shows. And I think the fact that it was in a castle, they try to really think outside the box a bit, bring some tradition, and it was really cool to see. So we're focusing on day 1 today. Day 1 kicked off with the log for max, and we had some incredible log lifters. and you had Aaron Page, who was claiming to be the British log record holder. He'd done 216 kilos in contest. It was judged by a referee. It was a qualifier for a bigger competition.
Okay.
Rob Frampton was the referee. There was just a bit of controversy over the lift, and I was there, and obviously, we know what's happened with Aaron, and he truly was an incredible log lifter. Actually, I believe we have 3, if not 4, of the best log lifters of all time that were all in the UK. Obviously, if you put Eddie in there, and then competitive wise, kind of more recently, obviously Graham Hicks, Luke Stoltman, and Aaron Page was without question up there.
Way up there, yeah.
4 of the best log lifters of all time. This was always made out to be a battle between Aaron and Hicksy. Now there was a friendly rivalry there, and actually Luke can throw himself into that friendly rivalry as well. They all want to be the log, and they all have been the log lift record holder at some point this year. But this event started with 150 kilos. I believe,
150,
which for most of the athletes wasn't too.
Yeah, so I think the only person, I Terry skipped it. Obviously, he was nursing a hamstring injury, but bless him, probably didn't want to let the organisers down with everything that was going on.
I should imagine Terry got a call from the promoter, and Terry, as he been the champ of the year, steps in last minute.
Yeah. Paul Benton did the 150, and I think that was his max lift. And I think the only person to miss it, bless him, was Mark Felix. But everyone else got 150, and I believe everyone got 170 as well. But now you're testing my memory.
I think everyone did, yeah. So the whole of the field all got 170.
And we should mention the conditions as well. Man, it looked blustery out there, didn't it?
It really did.
How much of a difference would that make compared to a perfect sort of stadium or arena?
It affects. I mean, it's definitely going to have an impact. A couple of things. It was a very grey day, so that kind of greyness overhead can sort of leave you a bit disorientated. Outdoor competitions, you don't have like the roof to focus on or something like that. So just as bad as a clear blue sky, but a completely grey sky is quite. It's hard to focus on.
The
anything.
lack of focal points. That makes it,
so it can kind of affect the balance a little bit. But the real factor here was the wind.
Yeah.
It was really howling. You could see with the flags in the background.
Yeah.
And I think there was a couple of guys that just stability-wise, it kind of threw them a little bit. Also the cold factor of having that wind blowing on you.
Cools you down quicker, doesn't it?
It does. So depending on how quickly they can get right through each round, that's going to have some kind of impact. So when you see contests and people aren't always lifting maybe what you'd expect them to lift, there's normally factors that play into that.
Yeah,
It's very, very difficult to be at your best every single competition, in every single type of climate and environment that you're going to compete in. But some awesome performances.
Yes.
And I got to say, like my 2 boys, I'm very proud of them.
Oh, your 2 babies.
Yeah,
so that's Alex and Jack.
Alex and Jack. This is their first ever time competing in a Giants live show. Called up on a few days' notice.
Yeah.
So they didn't prepare for this competition at all. Great opportunity for both of the boys. They took it with both hands, and to go to an international competition against some well-established athletes, and both of them hit a 180 log is, really, really good. For Alex, that was a national record. So he's taken the Romanian national record. And Jack, it's not long till he hits 200.
No. And Jack's younger. I know he won't mind me saying. Jack's younger than he looks, isn't he? How old is Jack? 23? 22, 23? I know it's a strongman thing. Yeah.
But no, he's doing awesome. This was a big step up in standard for him. And he really performed well. Not just on the log, actually. Day one, he's done awesome.
Yeah, the great day one.
We'll have a look at that in a second.
Yeah.
But just very quickly, the guys that managed to get 180, Aaron Page made it look easy. Hicksy made it look like
really easy.
Honestly, it was ridiculous how good his pressing was at this time. I know he's been unlucky that he hasn't had too many opportunities to really go for this max log, because Hicksy's pressing is just something else. His 180 was just effortless. Pa has improved his pressing a lot. And actually, Pa's been working with Hicksy as well. So obviously paying off nicely, but his pressing has improved a lot over the last couple of years. We had
Jack and Alex.
Yep. That was it.
Yeah. So not that many guys.
So you think of the some of the bigger names there not managing to hit the 180. Then we had Aaron attempt the 200.
Yes.
Now, this is when you kind of spoke about the kind of wind and the balance.
And the balance issues, yeah.
He locked out, no problem. Aaron was such an explosive lifter. He kind of almost made it look easy, but if he didn't quite fix it locked out overhead, he stumbled a little bit. And that's what happened here. He's moving around, so he didn't get the down signal because his feet were still moving.
It's almost like he's too quick. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's one of those things, he's so technical, and when he hits it right, it's just a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
But the problem with that, it's a bit like watching a Rob Kearney. You know, they make it look easy, or it's you know, whereas when you watch Hicksy, there's so much just muscle power there as well, with that stability that he has now. And Hicksy, again, made 200 look easy.
Yeah.
He really did. You know, Hicksy's pressing is
it gets you excited, I can see.
Been lucky enough to see lots of incredible performances, and when something's impressive, you just admire it. You know, even as an athlete, you know, when someone's better than you at something, they just make it look easy. It's awesome to watch. But obviously, being an athlete, you know how hard it is to do as well. And I think that makes you appreciate even more than maybe some people that just sit, you know, say
they've never trained a day.
You know, what's the difference for a 100-kilo log and a 200-kilo log? If you went to pick it up, you wouldn't know the difference.
I've deadlifted 100 kilos. I would know the difference. I've never deadlifted 200 kilos.
But do you see my point?
Of course,
okay?
yeah. It's hard for some people to really understand the weight. No, but not me. I would like to point out, clearly not me. I understand what you weigh like. 160.
Let's focus on the log.
Sorry.
Right, there we go. So Hicksy winning the log.
Yes.
Very comfortable 200. Then he goes on to do 220 kilos to smash the British record. Because during the show, they made out a bit of banter between the two of them. Actually, it was more Aaron's banter, and Hicksy was just...
Hicksy was Hicksy.
Just going to...
Whatever.
I'm just going for the world record.
Yeah.
And to be fair to him, Hicksy looked awesome.
Oh, yeah, no, he did. That was Hicksy's event. 220
kilos, again, a great lift. A little bit harder in terms of the lockout this time, but it's 220 kilos.
And it's in the wind and everything else.
The wind, you know, and also, when you get to that point in a competition and there's just you left, that's quite tough as well, because you're sort of having to follow yourself. So there's less rest period. And I still really want to see some of these top guys head to head. I want to see Luke versus Hicksy versus Bibby.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see on the log. But Hicksy attempted the world record, 230 kilos. Mind-boggling weight. Yeah. Unfortunately, not today. He looked like he was struggling a bit with his back. I think he'd cooled down from his 220 attempt. But a very comfortable first event for Graham Hicks, taking the win. So event number 2 was the Hercules Hold. And we've seen this event a number of times in the Giants Live over the last couple of years. And without question, this event has become Mark Felix's signature event.
Yes, it has.
He's got ridiculous hand strength. Stupidly big hands, the biggest hands in Strongman. They mention that in the commentary, but it's true. His hands are just
ginormous. There's no other way to describe it.
Just ridiculous, you know. We don't want to compare anything to Mark Felix, but his hands are just stupidly big, stupidly strong, and Mark Felix not only taking another win, but breaking another world record. He seems to do this just at will now on this event.
He said, I asked him once before, he said he does enough to break the record. Why would he go to his limit when he can just keep breaking the record? No one's coming close. Although, Terry Hollands
and Luke Richardson.
I was very impressed with Luke. So I know Terry Hollands has a great grip, obviously, but Luke... We always talk about it's usually something that older athletes are better at, the grip events, but Luke is one of the youngest, if not the youngest, in that
23
competition.
23 years old.
But maybe that's a bit of a hangover from his powerlifting days, obviously raw lifting, no straps, etc.
I think he's just a complete package, Luke is. You know, he really, really trains hard. He's got no gaping weakness in his kind of, you know, abilities. And he put on a blinding performance on this. I think all three of them doing over 1 minute.
Yeah.
Actually, Gav Bilton came in 4th, actually. He put in just fraction off the 1 minute.
59
Anyone getting 1 minute on this event that's world class.
Yeah.
Seriously impressive.
Gav Bilton, I imagine, he's a massive man. He must have the big hands as well.
He's a big man.
Well, you look funny with little hands, doesn't he?
But, yeah, again, you know, the two older boys, Terry Hollands, just shy of 1 minute 20, which I think is probably the second best time that's been done on this event.
It's hard to say because Mark's done it so many times.
Well, I'm on about not including Mark.
Oh, okay.
So,
probably
I think it probably
is. Yeah.
And then Mark Felix obviously taking the win.
Yeah.
Big points that he needed after the log.
Yes. And same for Terry as well.
Yeah, without question. And obviously this first day of competition, there was a cut. So they want to get as many points as possible to get into day 2.
Yeah.
So event number 3, the guys went inside the castle. They got a bit of a break from the wind. It was the forward hold. So holding out the 30 kilo Giant's Life hammers as long as possible. All about pain. All about just grit and determination. This is a really funny event. People kind of say, what's the best way to train it? Honestly, it's one of those you can very easily overtrain. It comes down to willpower, and then you look at... It's a really hard one to pick. You look at some athletes that you think they're unbelievably strong in the shoulders.
Yeah.
They're shorter arms. They're built perfectly for this, and they don't always do that well. No. And then someone with longer arms will go there and do really well. It's a hard one to pick, but generally, if you're strong in the shoulders, you're going to be good at it.
Is it? So it's more shoulders than chest then, as someone who's never tried?
So there's tricks to this.
Done.
Yeah, so
over the pecs.
if I was going to do it, I try and kind of flex my chest, and I'll then bring my biceps on top of my chest. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Some free tips.
So, and then you're trying to retract your shoulders as well to get your arms as short as possible. And then you get someone like an Eddie Hall, he's so good at this.
Yeah.
Massive chest, massive arms. They sort of rest on top of each other. And look, we're trying to manipulate the body to be as effective as possible. It still hurts like hell.
Of course.
The burning in the shoulders.
But it almost gives you a shelf on top of the pecs.
It does. That's what you're basically trying to do.
I would use my boobs. I might be all right.
You might be good at this
like
one.
5 kilos.
But it's all about just, once you've got that technique sorted, it's then just willpower, determination, and cheating as much as you can. What I mean by that is,
Within the rules.
don't ever put the hammer down. Wait until you're told to put it down.
Yes.
So,
let it go as low as it has to go.
If you can get away with that getting lower and lower, keep holding it. If the referee doesn't say down, and the referees are strict. I watch this competition, they're making sure their back and their butt is against the wall. But I'm just giving a few little tips, and I've seen it so many times. Just because it's going down doesn't mean the referee's going to say down.
No.
So, and if you can get an extra 1, 2, 3 seconds,
assume
that
the
could
stopwatch is still going.
Yeah, that could be pretty important at the end. So it is literally cheat as much as you can, and just fight as much as you can with the pain.
So now we've taught everyone how to cheat. Should we say who won?
Yeah. So who was the biggest cheat in this event?
No.
So we'll go through the top 3. Third place. Oh, Jack was third.
Someone who you coach. How bizarre.
To be fair, he does have some seriously strong shoulders.
He does.
And quite a thick chest as well. So perfectly built for this type of event.
Yeah, he is.
2 events coming top, 3 in his first ever Giants Live. I am super proud of him. He did absolutely brilliantly. To be up there with like Graham Hicks coming second on this event. Graham hitting a time of 48.12. And then taking the win was Luke Richardson, just pipping Hicksy's time with a time of 48.41.
I think he surprised himself in his interview. He's like, didn't think I'd win this.
Well, he said himself.
Which is always nice, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. When you get an event that you win and you weren't expecting it, that puts you into a good place.
Yeah.
And
mentally as well.
Without question. He said himself the day 2 are the better events for him. So he's setting himself up for a great position. But again, this is only Luke's second pro strongman contest. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Really exciting. He's such a prospect. He's getting better all the time. Trained really hard for this contest, and it just shows. He came in, great preparation. One thing I want to point out, I think Felix was 4th on this event. Felix is very good at these type of events, and he's got long arms. He's not the perfect build. But when you compare Mark's face on the Hercules hold, where he's very relaxed, calm, and then on this, he's just got like this psychotic look on his face.
What did Danny Wallace?
I think he said it's the face of Christmas.
Yeah, the face of Christmas. I should say as well, like a lot of people slate, like proper strongman fans tend to slate Danny Wallace's commentary. I think he's brilliant.
He's funny.
I quite like it.
It's great because someone like, if I was doing it, or Colin Bryce, we can't quite get away with some of the jokes that he puts in, but Danny can sort of get away with it, and it gives it a bit of like light-hearted humour that's needed sometimes.
Yeah.
He still gives the athletes respect when he needs to.
Yeah, well, Colin does.
no, Danny does as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah.
Right, On to the last event of day one. So event number 4 was the loading.
Yes.
4 implements.
Yes.
Do you remember what they were?
I want to say an anchor. There was a sandbag,
Yep.
a keg, and a tyre.
Do you remember the weights?
All between about 100 and 120 kilos.
150.
Okay.
So between 100 and 150 kilos. 4 objects as quick as possible into the skip.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, quite a standard event we've seen a number of the Giants lives now.
It's staple in sort of Britain's Strongest Man, isn't it?
Very staple at Britain's. Guys like the Stoltmans are extremely good at this, obviously missing from this competition.
Yeah, but Adam Bishop's very good at this as well,
He
isn't
is.
he? He's
And
so quick.
Adam actually taking the win on this event.
Did you see him with that tyre?
He was
Gonna
fast,
take
man
off.
on a mission.
Yeah.
He sort of, you can tell this was the start of he needs to do something now, because it hadn't been the best start in the competition for Adam. We know he's got better events day 2, but he put in a performance in this one.
He was very good.
Very, very fast with every single implement. Winning time, actually. Adam did it in 36.9 seconds. Irvin Toots finally showing what he's capable of. I love Irvin. Ever since he came onto my show, I've got a...
We've got Irvin crushes.
I know. He's just a really cool guy.
Yeah.
I love that this guy, he was asked last minute to do this show.
Like 2 days
and
before.
Had to go all over the place to try and get to Europe's. Gets there, and he still performs damn well.
Yeah. He's sometimes it's harder. You only see little clips, but we could tell from obviously from your show. He's such a likeable guy with just so much determination. And
I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of him over the next couple of years. A great athlete and a great addition to Europe. So like we said, we needed those new people. Irvin is a damn good talent.
Yeah, and he trains with Rauno, doesn't he? Rauno Heinler, so
not a bad training partner.
Got a good mentor.
So Irvin Toots taking second place with 38 seconds, and then Luke Richardson, another great performance. This guy was consistent. He was performing well, taking third with 38.35. Any standout performances from you that we haven't mentioned? Obviously, we focused on the top few guys, but what did you enjoy mainly about this contest?
Honestly, I loved the whole thing. I loved the setup. I liked the choice of events. I thought the athletes looked in really good shape. I thought it was a real shame to see Terry go out the way that he did on the loading, because he's usually so good at loading.
You look at his Britain's loading, was really good.
Yeah.
A very similar event. Unfortunately, this happens in Strongman.
No, I know. I've seen it.
And it happens more and more as we get older.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
If he was coming into this show with an injury, it's going to be very hard to get through it.
But I really enjoyed the show. I liked the production. I really liked that we got to see a lot more of a lot of the guys.
Yeah,
because there was a bit of criticism last week.
I think that's been one of the best things about this. And I think the fact that it's split over 2 shows
really helps that, yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
So only 4 events to go through today. We got to see a lot more of all the athletes.
Yeah.
It
actually really helps follow the story a lot better. It just sort of takes you with them as like a spectator. I thought it was really good, very personable. Nice to see Aaron, obviously, bless him. I really enjoyed watching that. I felt a bit warm and fuzzy inside afterwards.
Looking forward to part 2.
I am. I'm really excited for part 2, and we've only got 2 days to wait, haven't we? It's Wednesday. So.
Yeah, for those that are in the UK, it's Channel 5, 7 p.m. Make sure you tune in. For those that can't watch,
it's VPN and then Channel 5. Make sure you tune in.
And you can always come and enjoy the after show with us.
Yes.
So at the end of day 1, we had to lose 3 athletes. Yes. So Paul Benton, Terry Hollands and Alex Lungo, unfortunately, not making it onto the next day. And the top 3 going into day 2, you had Luke Richardson, who was on 37.5 points. Adam Bishop climbing back up the table nicely by that last event on 31.5. And then in joint 3rd place, you had Mark Felix and Graham Hicks.
If you would like to come to Europe's Strongest Man 2021 or any of the other Giants Live shows, we have a
link in the description below.
That's it. That was all I had to say.
Guys, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be back with day 2 in a few days' time.
Yes.
In the meantime, take it easy. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back soon. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.